I was born in Norfolk, Virginia,
Ah,
and I lived down there for most of my life. My family moved up here back in 2016, and then moved to Easton in 2018. Their permanent move was after I turned 18. I didn't go to Easton High School in a super traditional sense. I had a friend who was I say had, she's still my friend, um, who was the choir director, and I had a background in choir. Uh,
oh,
so I kind of came in and helped out wherever I could. And it was super unofficial capacity, and then just last year, I actually worked at the high school
oh,
with the special ed kids there. I was on the Eastern Shore for quite a bit, and then I actually graduated college, and then I went to Pensacola Christian College down there in Florida,
uh-huh.
and then I was like, all right, mom, dad, love you guys, but I gotta go. So I went back to Virginia,
Oh,
and then and then I came back up here. I wear a lot of hats.
yeah,
Um, in my work, the company I work for does home internet installations. Um, so that can be hanging a TV, sound systems, home Wi-Fi, internet, fiber,
yeah,
um, things like that. I am branching into web development, so that has been a blast.
yeah.
Uh, so it's nice to finally use college experience in the real world, because I know that's not always the case. Well, before I like to make a decision, I like to have uh, multiple factors, type of a couple personal data sets to kind of go off of. One of those is, I mean, my family lives up here, and one day I hope to have a family up here, and
Well,
I think that is, of the utmost importance, in making sure that Easton continues to be a safe place to raise a family. So that was one factor. The second factor was I do agree with you. Civic participation has plummeted over the years, and and I think it is increasingly more dire that young people get involved in local politics. Um, I say local politics because we've seen communities dissolve over the years, and I think that is one of the, I say, easiest, knowing that easy is highly subjective here.
yeah, yeah, right.
um, Understanding that uh, there does need to be effort put in from a younger generation in order to build communities, build relationships with each other. And then the third factor was I was on Facebook. I was on Facebook, and I was in the comment section, and people were whining. You know how they are,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, wow. I was like, instead of whining, we could just become the thing that does the change. And then I was like, wait a second. Wait just a second. I can become the thing. I'm gonna be completely honest. And I'm not sure what belief you're subscribed to. But I really felt like the Lord was just opening doors, and I was like, well, the door's open. I might as well walk through it, and then and that is, I mean, throughout life, that's found me in some very very interesting situations, and by no means bad ones. So this is it's that the tipping point was really like, oh, this door isn't just a theoretical, it's not just painted on the wall. It isn't like
Yeah,
a Wile E. Coyote scenario.
yeah, right.
So yeah, that was really the tipping point when I realized, oh, I can actually do this. There are a number of things that I've found uh, have drawn my eye. For one, there's the housing, there's parking, there's staying up to date in our parks and things like that. There's responsible spending is a huge one, and the transparency there. And that's I think if I want to send it all home and be like, this is the big one, is is that transparency between this ivory tower of a town council
Mm,
and the people of Easton.
mm,
I really want to take the information that's being had up here and the decisions that are being made up here that affect everyone down here, and we just kind of have to deal with it and hit the same potholes everybody else does,
yeah.
and kind of take this information and just lay it all out. And because that's really the one thing that has been the most frustrating. While I've been able to watch, the town council meetings, is and I did get a hold of like a town budget. I want to know the finest details, and I want people to be aware of how their taxpayer dollars are being used. And if they're not being used in the way that they want, I want them to have the ability and accessibility to town council members to be like, hey, we don't like this. This isn't good. And I might be shooting myself in the foot here because when I say this, I I do really want town council members to take seriously this and be, for lack of a better term, afraid, because hey, if the people don't approve of how you're using their tax dollars, you're not going to be in for long. We have over 900 homes in the pipeline, right, being developed, and and then we have the town council. Like, there's whenever there's a budget cut, the first thing to get cut is police funding. And I'm like, you realize you have 900 homes coming in, and then you're saying, oh, the people that have given us a grade A safety rating in Easton, where I'm from in Virginia, we did not have a grade A safety rating, and it showed.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I was like, you're putting these potential families in a tight spot if you decide to continue to cut back on. It's over 9 million for the police officers over at the department. But to constantly just kind of be like, oh, we can take some from that. It's like, no, no, no. You can be more responsible with what you have.
Hmm.
Isn't it true that there's people who were given less and have done more with it? And that's really one thing I really want to send home. Like, we've been given backs to bear these burdens, not to like turn them on them, turn them on the people of Easton and make decisions in our own best interests. Um, so that's one of the things with that. I would love for these developments coming in. I cannot stress how important it is that we have more. I want to stay away from things like, I say stay away. I'm talking verbiage exclusively. Um, like Section 8 and affordable housing, but instead press forward with like starter homes, homes that are affordable for the everyday, you know. And there's a reason why our volunteers, the majority of them, like for our fire department, don't live in Easton. There's a reason why our police officers are, in Cambridge.
Hmm.
You know, there's one house on the market right now that is below $400,000, and if you are a police officer in Easton, and their average is 62, Their average is 62,000.
mm,
You have to put 70,000 down on the house. You've got to, $500 for food a month.
mhm,
Being generous. We're talking the lowest car payment you could possibly think of. We're thinking the cheapest insurance, and like you're in the red so far. And this is a serious issue because there's all these claims for wanting Easton to grow and whatever, and it's you can't. Above all else, I want to listen to my constituents. I want to have an ear to the ground always. This isn't a party thing. This is no agenda to push. The office is simply you are a voice for the people in your ward. And from what I have seen, that is not always the case. Um, so that is one thing I want to stress, double down on, put it put it in stone that that is one thing I am immovable on.
mhm,
That my job is to listen, and my job is to be what they are. So that is one thing. Another thing is you've met. I'm assuming you've met. You've been doing this for 4 election cycles. Many candidates, um, and I've met all of the candidates. And for lack of a better term, it seems like all of their favorite colors are like navy blue, like wah, 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 wah. And I'm like, look, y'all, like, we can bring some energy here. We can actually get stuff done if we show some fire under us. So that's one thing is a real desire, I think, to do right by the people of Easton. Another thing is I'm young. Some people see that as a bad thing. I choose to view that as an asset in a sense of there's a lot of perspectives that I see that uh, older and more experienced people don't.
mm,
And time is linear. That's up for debate for some people. And we will have younger people born in Easton. We will have people grow up in Easton. And it's like, look, we have to continue to take this into account. We can't just stick back in an archaic form uh, of counseling, being like whatever it is they're doing now. Um, and I know that's not always the case.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, that's another thing. So fresh perspective, new ideas, boundless energy, and a true desire to listen to the constituents in my ward. Here's the deal. The skinny of it is I would love to get to know all of them. I really would. I When I started door knocking, I was advised, hey, keep things short, sweet, simple, to the point, and then go to the next door. And I hate that. I hate that mindset. I love sitting down with someone, and I love getting to know people on that level. To voters, uh, my name is Cameron Keefe. I'm running in Ward 4. I would love to get to know you and to get to know me. I would love for you to get to know me. I guess that's all I have to say.